glad you're here. Small but mighty, right? Well, I want to welcome you here. I know we have one visitor today, Ty Rowe. He's with TLC Property Management. Did I get it right?
Nailed it.
Awesome. But anyway, welcome. But we're going to talk about one main company. We started 2 years ago in April to help the entrepreneurial education and ecosystem in Joplin. And so we've had a lot of meetings, had a lot of people. We're always looking for new people to present. But these are our organizers, and they all work on different things, so we try to keep this thing rolling. And we couldn't do it without our sponsors. And we love all of our sponsors, SMB and Granny Schaefer supplies our coffee, and the Joplin Public Library. We just have a lot of good partners in the chamber. And so, like I said, we couldn't do it without them. But today we're in for a treat. I don't know how many of you have met Frank, but he has ATC, Automated Technology Company, right? And anyway, but he works on smart city stuff. And so the Smart City Symposium is coming up on the 29th. And so he's going to tell us all about that and educate us. So let's get this switched over so he can present.
Oh, am I up first?
You're it.
Here, I'll get that. I've got a couple different reports on.
And you have your own clicker? Okay.
Oh. There it is. There we go.
And if you don't mind using the microphone recording, so we'll make sure we hear you, or else it won't pick it up very well.
Frank Thompson, everybody. I'm both.
Just flip it up there.
What?
Yeah, just flip that up there to turn it on.
It's text, so I don't know. Can you hear me now? Is it working?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm no public speaker at all by any means, so don't judge. If my zipper's down or something, just move on. So I'm with Automated Technology Company. We've been around for about 8-9 years here in Joplin. A little bit of history behind our company. We started out, I've been in the automation world for about 25 years or so, finding stuff. As I traveled around the world, I found out different countries were doing different things. So as we started looking and deciding why is the US so far behind, we started doing things a little bit different, bringing stuff into where people weren't locked into proprietary technologies and stuff like that. So as we began, we found out that there was technologies out there that were being used in other countries that had not even made it to the US yet, that were far beyond what we do. So that's kind of where we started, and we started right here in Joplin. We've grown, we're a smaller company, but we're known worldwide. We've done projects with, what's the name of that first place? No.
Michael Kors.
No, the other one.
Coach.
It'll come to me and I'll blurt it out in a little bit. So, and just so you all know, I changed it. I had this done 2 days ago and I changed it at 6 o'clock this morning, so bear with me. So anyway, moving on, people around here have not really been ever told what a true, they used to be called smart cities, but we're leaning more towards intelligent cognitive cities now. Because smart is just if you think about it, it's a buzzword. So that's why we put together the Smart City Symposium that's coming up. It's June 29th. It's out at Joplin Family Worship Center. We have people from ABB, Siemens, Schneider, T-Mobile, US Cellular, Telic, which is an AI company that's just out of this world, that we utilize within our stuff. Hanwha Vision, which does a lot of traffic AI cameras, stuff like that. Now, the reason that we want to do this is, as people have been told and shown certain ways to do, hey, this is a smart city or this is a smart city, we've noticed that there's a lot of discrepancies. So we decided it was best to bring in the people that make these things happen, to tell people straight up what a smart city is. And this is not going to be just a symposium to sit there and watch. It's going to be very interactive. So, any questions on that yet? So what is a cognitive building? As technology continues to advance in roles of architects, we've actually designed systems that will let us bring everything together holistically and future-proof. The cognitive building uses artificial intelligence, AI, which is a buzzword as well, with holistic platforms to help bring everything together simultaneously. We can do dynamic prediction. It gives us more ease of control. In addition to the advancements and stuff, you can, with the predictive maintenance and stuff like that, you can actually have self-healing. So like if there's a program corrupt or something, it can actually fix itself before it breaks down. As time goes by, you'll see more and more and more. And there's a lot of people that are scared of it. But here's one of the things that people don't realize. If you embrace it, you learn more, you know what to expect. If you push it away, you don't know anything and you don't know what it's doing. They're coming whether you want them to or not. So that's the thing about it. I'm gonna move on. So this is kind of what an actual intelligent cognitive city looks like. You have clean energy, which is your solar, your wind, whatever you have. Smart grid, where you can actually tell what is coming in. We're doing the historic renovation over here at the Schiffendecker House for Mr. Humphreys. Those breakers and everything that we've put in there, and we did all the design for the smart side of it, can actually tell us what the grid is doing. We have 2 of those applications already installed in Joplin. Smart offices, healthcare, for example, telehealth, blood pressure monitoring. One of the big case studies that we did in London about 6 years ago with our AI company and our SCADA platform, we was able to tell within a nursing facility who was getting ready to have a diabetic attack from their glucose monitor. And that's a study that we did with the hacked before they opened them up. So the numbers would be actually a lot different now. Utility management, which is nobody is happy with right now in this area. Parking, that's done via LoRaWAN. To give you an example, a LoRaWAN sensor will reach about anywhere from 10 to 15 miles wirelessly, and the batteries last about 10 to 12 years. Traffic, utilizing cameras. There's agriculture, we can tell the soil, humidity, everything. Now moving on, one of the ways that we make this happen is, everybody is on this big push for fiber, broadband. What a lot of people don't know is we already have that here in Joplin. We have it in Neosho, we have it in Pittsburgh, we have it in all these towns to where the cities don't have to spend all these millions of dollars for a broadband when it's already there. And that's where we help them with what is called a small cell. Has anybody seen these little, telephone poles with the, with little antenna on top of it, the round antenna that are popping up all over Joplin? Those are done by, those specific ones are done by AT&T, but that's for what they call FirstNet, which is for emergency services. They remade an a service that was already done by Homeland Security. So as we build these small cells out, it's easier for us to do that with fiber from a backbone. So from that backbone, we just go to the small cell instead of having to go fiber to every home. The biggest part about the carriers, and these are carrier agnostic, so if we was to bring in a small cell, the city could lease it to a carrier, 2 carriers, 3 carriers, however, and get reoccurring revenue back from that city. And it's allowing the cities to do it, does away with having to go through a permit for every tower. It does away with a lot of things, and they can do it a lot faster. Operational cost is lower. Using public infrastructure would create a lot more fluid way to get those in and implemented. The challenges of small cells are defining the budgets, surveying the sites, the antenna spaces they have to come in and lease. So that's one of the biggest ones. You see them on top of buildings, you see them on top of towers, everything, and they have to negotiate those, and those sometimes take a couple years. Then the permits, the design site, the install site, and maintaining coverage. That's all left on the carriers, and it's very overwhelming. Like I said, the city officials can overcome it. Create ordinances to where they own the towers that come into the city. Again. So part of the problem is a lot of people have resistance against utilizing the small cell towers and stuff, or any type of wireless communication, because for one, they think it's gonna look ugly like these big antennas we have and stuff. But no, these can blend in with our street lights, everything. We have some that you can't even tell they're small cell towers. We have information kiosks, if you ever see. We worked with a company that's doing them in Dubai to where the kiosk is also the small cell tower. So there's a lot of benefits to it as well. So that is that. Kind of going to the, and then I'm gonna go through this real quick, and then I'll kind of be done. So we did kind of put together a program for a city to where we was able to put a package together for their streetlights and do an energy analysis. And this is able to, all the streetlights, for example, in Joplin can be ran off of this little device right here. Every single one of them. So doing that, and this gives us down to the streetlight level. If we can put sound on there, we can put gunshot detection, we can put analytical cameras, all of this stuff. Analytical cameras would go in trouble areas to where those lights would come on. There's a lot of benefit to all of what is being said. And just kind of tie these together with LoRaWAN, which is what I was talking about for the long distance stuff. We can tie our entire city together. Waste receptacles to where trash trucks aren't going out unless a receptacle is full, on and on and on. So saves energy resources, transportation, production, and that's a cognitive city monitoring. So here's some of the cities that have went to actual smart street lighting. So for example, New York, they've got 1,386,000 street lights. Annual megawatts in savings is 566,000. Annual cost savings is 36.8 million. Go down to Vermont where it's a little bit smaller, 31,000. 10,000 lights, $1.4 million in savings. We broke out to see what we could save Joplin. And just off of the streetlight use alone, it was, the repair cost, where's it at?
Right in the middle, repair cost?
No, on the top. Annual estimated savings just on running the lights alone is $224,000. But now if we go to the streetlight usage that the city pays Liberty every year, that's about 2.9 million that they pay just to use the lights. So, anyway, that's pretty much it. How'd they do? Questions?
Who has questions?
So, I can't remember the device right there. You're saying that could run all those streetlights in general?
We've got a SCADA platform that is open. We can run everything from a tiny home all the way up to a great application. And it runs right on this.
So you could essentially turn them all red if you wanna?
Yeah, we could do that. You know, we don't get into the street lights, to the traffic light. We can,
Gotcha.
but there's certifications and stuff that you have to be able to utilize that. But we can implement it and monitor it and everything else. So that's like this device here. When I was talking about the broadband, so this device right here, and we've been testing these for over a year. They're out of Ireland. We can actually go into a city and deploy these right now and have a full-blown broadband system. Same with the apartment complex. We can go in and do these, and we can allow the apartment complex owners to have to do a la carte stuff, like from these specific devices they can have door locks, thermostats, energy monitoring, flood sensors, blood and glucose monitoring, TV, alarm, everything that is on a managed network. So, and when I'm saying that we have the broadband to deploy right now, this is it. It's already there. We've got, I want to say, 10, 11 customers that have been testing it for over a year. So,
Do you have a relationship with the utilities in the city of Joplin?
no. By choice.
Okay.
So what we do, and there's a reason behind that. So have you ever heard of peak demand?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we can actually make it to where peak demand doesn't happen. And we've been able to do that for over 7 years. We've approached the utility many, many times. They don't want us to be able to do that. We can go down to the device, to the device level to prevent that device from control it. EV charging, we're one of the only companies in the world that can actually take, everybody knows that our grid is not ready for EV. We can actually, within our SCADA, we can actually take, if you've got a minute, I'll show you real quick. Can I have a certain amount of time? So this is our, nope. Oh, I guess. Sorry, guys. Is that it?
There, well,
Oh, I know why. Okay, so if you look at this, this is a dashboard of our SCADA. So what we can do with our SCADA, and this is a live dashboard. We can control all the lighting and stuff in an office just by when somebody walks in. If you see these red things, that's where someone has walked into that office. We can do the climate, we can do the shading, and I'm going through this very quickly. So we go down here to the EV charging. We're literally one of the only companies in the world that can do this. I say in the world the way that this is done. We can do it dynamically to where we set a level, we set a curve where our supply is coming in for the EV chargers, and we can divert that from the grid, from solar, from battery, to charge a full lot of EV cars without hitting peak demand. If we go down in here to the energy, we can actually put the load right here, the what the max kW is before you start hitting peak demand, and what it does, it will cycle all of the devices to keep you from hitting that realm. We can go to Sankey diagram to where we can pull off of the grid, we can pull off of solar or battery to run certain things depending on what they are. We can do campuses all the way from just one location to a huge campus. And here's another nice one. As most of you have seen on your Liberty bills right now, they're actually charging you different rates at certain times of the day. We can actually go down to keep your devices and schedule them. I'm trying to think if there's anything else here that would benefit. Does everybody know this bridge? This is the Murphy Low Water Bridge out there. We did this, I did this about 4 years ago because I was bored one day. Just kidding. We live up behind there, so this affected us every day. So what we did is we went down there and put a wireless sensor on the bridge right here. And what it would do is it would actually be able to take and let us know up in the neighborhood that that bridge was flooded. It could send out a notification and everything else. It could close the gates, everything. Very cost effective and very easy to deploy. So, yeah, that's it. Questions?
So the symposium, what exactly are you going to be talking about? And then where is Joplin in this whole process right now?
The symposium itself will cover a lot of this as a whole. Where is Joplin in this? Couldn't tell you. I could not tell you. I know that I don't know where they're at.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just curious.
Question. Frank, first of all, I know everybody in here at some point in time has been sitting at a red light and there's no other cars and it's like, what the heck? Like if you're at the post office and you leave downtown Loop, you come up to a red light, somebody can take a shower in Carmel Junction in their car and drive past you before your light turns green. So that's my pet peeve. So I love what you're doing on that. A couple other things I wanted to share too, as maybe some feedback. All of this is fantastic. Have you considered partnering with or doing something with the National League of Cities?
No, that actually a lot of those come to us for consulting.
Perfect.
US Ignite, which works with the city of Joplin. Everything that we've given the city of Joplin so much direction to go. We've presented, I think you said in my presentation about the broadband, wasn't you? Okay. We presented our broadband plan to them. That's kind of where it went. We presented the low water bridge that we already had it done. We presented that to them. They went a different direction, and it still doesn't work. So, and we spent close to $300,000 on it, which, so it's just, you know, we do a lot of work away from here.
Well, and that's why I think National League of Cities would be fantastic. If it's
Product.
some-
Product. We actually did. We actually did Prada's headquarters in London. Their full automation within their headquarters. Sorry.
No,
I
you're
told
good.
you I'd blurt it out.
No, there you go. Yeah, you did. Just the thing about National League of Cities is that is such a premier thing for municipalities to go to, so that even if you didn't have a booth, it's in Atlanta this year, I think in November 15th through the 23rd or whatever. But just to go work the floor, make contacts, or where the city council members are staying or hotel, geofence, where you could send some kind of a digital ad to them.
And yeah, we already we get promoted by these companies that we work with, like
Sure.
ABB, like Siemens, like Schneider. They actually call us in to do consulting to some of these cities. But if you know, a lot of cities, and this happens all over, unless you have a suitcase, you don't know anything. And that's kind of the mentality here. If you don't have a suitcase, you don't know. I'm sorry, that's the way it is. And you see this all the time.
I don't know what that means. What
What's
does that
that?
mean if you don't have a
You have to be out of town.
If
Yeah,
if
you
you're
have
not,
to be brought in as a consultant from out of town.
Okay. No.
yeah, you have to be a consultant from out of town.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
And as many of you, some of you know that I'm very outspoken when it comes to this kind of stuff, trying to get our cities to adopt it. It's a battle. Go ahead.
Well, I have a question. So I was just thinking, so in Carthage, I live in Carthage, you know, they just, I think they're finishing or whatever, that there's fiber optics available now. Okay, which I'm on it and it's fantastic. But are you saying that they really didn't need to do that?
Nope. We've been running our business off of this for over a year. We get anywhere from 200 to 600 meg downloads. We have, and there's all the other added benefits to that as well.
Other locations, even across the pond, what are some actual cities that have adapted this program and are using it successfully? Do you have any?
Oh, all over. Go to
Or
Heidelberg.
even in the United States?
There's the specific products in the U.S. Very few. There's a lot of them that have done the adoption of the perceived technology, but where they get most of the cities, it's all proprietary. We do it with open technology, to where a city or a facility or a school district is not locked in. They're not locked into anything proprietary. And that's where we get our biggest pushback from these companies that have millions and millions of dollars for marketing, and you just can't. And that's why a lot of them come to us for work with development for them and everything else.
Will you talk about the format of the Smart City Symposium? Like what, if you come, like what it's gonna look like while you're there, who you think's attending, who could benefit?
Yes, what we have is, and that's on the Chamber's website, and it's on their LinkedIn, it's on their Facebook. And what we have is we have three main speakers. They'll speak for 40 minutes, and they'll have like a 10 to 15 minute Q&A session. They'll do their presentations, and it is interactive. We have the VP of North American Connected Devices for Siemens coming in. We have the global VP for ABB Smart Building Solutions coming in. We have someone we're supposed to have someone coming in from T-Mobile, but they're actually waiting to see if he's back in the country by then. If not, we'll either have somebody from USA or T-Mobile there to go over that part. And then we also have somebody to go over that'll be able to go over the factory floor side and the wastewater and sewer side of things. And then we'll have an open panel discussion with open Q&A for several people. That includes the analytical cameras. We've got two people one from Germany that's coming on. It's actually the manufacturer, developer of our SCADA platform. He's been in the building world for over 25 years. And our platform has been around since 1996. It's not new. Some of the technology we use has been around for 35 years. Nothing we do is new per se on the hardware side. It's new, but the technology is not new. And then, there'll be a lot of, and this is the first year for it. So.
One more question, and I'll leave you alone.
Okay.
Have you gone around to different businesses, either in Joplin or the surrounding areas, to propose to them doing like a smart building? Instead of maybe adapting the whole program, but getting that installed and then growing from there?
That's one of the things that is very misleading when people present a smart city. Do you know where it has to start? In the heart of the city.
Yeah.
And that would be your city hall, your buildings. We're actually in the process, have you ever been in the runaround?
Mm-hmm.
The old one? You know how the lights work? We built that from the ground up with our technology. Joplin High School, the gym lights were always on for a long time. We went in there and fixed that for a fraction of the cost. We've got lots of applications. ABB's Industrial Automation Headquarters in Cleveland, we designed it, developed it, and this is how they run their building. David Humphrey's museums over here, we've done all of the technology for that and designed it from the irrigation all the way back to the energy monitoring.
I'm just thinking like the businesses out in the industrial park or over off like Kodiak Road, all that, you could save them so much money if you went in.
I've got to do this correctly. It's called status quo mentality. And I think we've always done it that way, is the biggest part of why the US is the way it is. As a whole, the US is about 20 years behind. And a lot of people don't realize that, so.
No, I get that.
So.
I have one last question. So I have a resort down in Oklahoma that I work with, and their Wi-Fi was horrible there. So anyway, we've set up a Wi-Fi system. So the internet provider has fiber coming to the office, and then there's basically towers and poles and all that. So is there an easier way to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how is that? With that thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what is it exactly? It's over 45 acres, the resort.
Yeah, so we can actually, for like the city of Joplin, we actually put together a plan, and I'm just using this for an example. We put together a plan to do this with the city of Joplin. So we could actually, if you have fiber coming into it, we can work with a carrier to get them out there and provide these modems to you. Or we can actually disperse these throughout, and you can have internet in each location. Apartments, we can bring in one fiber backbone and deploy these in each apartment complex, apartment. And that way the apartment can offer, okay, so you want smart locks, smart thermostat, all this to save energy. Okay, it's this much, this much, this much. And you can have those things.
How far apart do you have to put those?
However far you want. The mesh network, I forget what the range is on those. But we have these are 5G routers. And then we have what is called our 5G home and our 5G business, which is the extension module. So,
Very interesting.
and these are, a lot of people are getting managed, they're doing hotspots and stuff like the schools and stuff like that are basically, I don't know how they're doing it, but these give us managed network. We can build them their own dashboard to where they have they can manage down to the device to actually what site they can go to, what they can't go to, when they can be on it, when they can't be on it.
You need any more testers?
We're actually waiting on our devices to come in. We were doing our assembly or production of our boards and stuff in China. We shut everything and moved it down over to Taiwan. We don't want anything coming out of China. So, and now we're just, pretty soon we're gonna be taking those and just bringing the boards into the Joplin area and doing the final assembly, commissioning and programming here.